Hello, fellow Toastmasters and Zoom users in general. I wanted to put together a short tutorial on what it means to be a Zoom master, as we term them in Toastmasters. Other organizations, it might be the Zoom organizer, Zoom manager, whatever you want to term the person, but it's basically the person that watches the technology during an online meeting using the Zoom application. I believe there's two reasons that we should have what we term as a Zoom master. One is to help the participants with their Zoom experience. And secondly, to watch for malicious or disturbing behavior. Unfortunately, in today's world, there are people out there who want to get in and just mess with your recording just to be malicious. It's unfortunately that's today's world. And there's also things that interrupt the meeting, such as people doing things that they don't realize it's making noise. It could be noise from a different room. It could be clicking of the keyboard. There's all kinds of things that interrupt the meetings that Zoom masters should be responsible for taking care of that, not the person leading the meeting. I believe there's three things that a Zoom master should manage. One, they should manage the participants. Two, they should manage the chat. And three, they should manage the Zoom applications. I wanted to share my screen with you and show you some things that I saw during a recent Toastmasters meeting would help explain these. First and foremost, as the Zoom master, you should request the ability to be the host or co-host from the person who set up the meeting. So I set our meeting up and I was the host, and I gave the co-host responsibilities to Steve Weeds. Now, Steve had the ability to do everything that I was able to do during the meeting, but since I was leading the meeting, I needed Steve to manage the technology. Next, you should open the chat. You can open the chat window. Once you do that, the chat screen is open down here. And then you should open up the participants window well. So to manage the participants, when people enter a Zoom meeting, they go into a waiting room. And once they're in that waiting room, it's the responsibility of the co-host or the host to allow them into the meeting. So another thing you can see here is that we have several people who are in the meeting, and all of them are muted. As a host of the meeting, you can mute all participants, and then you can unmute all participants as well. Now, my suggestion is, as we come into the meeting, everyone should be unmuted. Allow that chatter, conversations to happen just as if you were meeting in person. Then when the meeting begins, go ahead and mute all. Once you mute all, then unmute the person who is speaking. Allow them to be able to speak uninterrupted during the meeting. There's some other options that are available here as well. The manage participants, the polls, there's chat, share screen, which is what I'm doing with you now, recording, and then also breakout rooms. I'm going to stop sharing this picture and go to a video that would also help me explain better the pros that are available to the host. This is a recent Toastmasters meeting and sharing during the meeting. You can see that I have a little bit. You can see my mouse moving as I describe some things. And I was able to, well, pause this. As the host, here's some options that you have available. In anyone's participant's window, if you hover in their window, you're able to mute them. And we each have a little blue box with 3 white dots in it. As the host, you have these options available to you. You can mute their audio, which is also the same thing as this little mute here. You can stop their video. This allows the live capturing of their video to stop, it will display the picture of them, but not their video as it is live. You can chat with that person. You click on chat, it'll open up the screen down here in the chat window where you can chat directly with that person. You can also rename them. During our Toastmasters meetings, we have been pretty good at renaming ourselves to the role that we are fulfilling that day. You can see here today, Marilyn's designation was TT. This was meant she was available for table topics. Colby was our timer. Myself, I was the Toastmaster of the day, and Steve was the Zoom master. So we ask everyone to change their name to being their role and then their name. But if they can't do it or they're unable to do it, as the co-host, you can make that change for them. You can pin their video and or spotlight their video. Note, this is just for your view, not for everyone else's view. And also, if you want to, you can take that host ability and you can give it to someone else, make someone else a co-host. You can also remove them. Now, this is where the malicious behavior comes in. If someone comes into your meeting that you didn't want to come in, you can either remove them or put them into the waiting room. Either one, you have the ability to pull that person out of the meeting. Lastly, knowing the options that are available during the meeting are helpful not only to the leader, but as well as the participants. So if they don't know how to pin a video, that might be something you can explain, that you hover over their window and you can change you can pin their video, and you can also change their view. I will let this video continue. And I was able to change the view. I'm on speaker view. I had pinned her video. Now I like to go back to gallery view where I can see everyone. Now I'm back to speaker view. That's how you change those options, not only for yourself, but you change it for everyone. Everyone in the meeting can do the same. I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please do so in the notes of this video. I'd love to hear your experiences or some tips that you have had as well. We do all this just to make our meeting experiences more productive and more efficient.